The year was 1919. The number one hit was Forever Blowing Bubbles, and the prequel to World War II was still officially happening. And a German man with a funny moustache was starting an organization that would change the world forever. That organization would one day be known as the Nazi Party. And the man who started it was Anton Drexler? Not what you thought, right? You're thinking this guy.
This is the madman, the criminal murderer, madman, criminal murderer, madman, criminal murderer, murderer.
But it's only kind of about him as well. It's more about people like this. And when they say,
the National Socialist movement for a reason, and the socialist part of it wasn't accidental.
They have socialist in the name. How can they be conservative? So let's find out why the Nazi Party isn't a socialist organization and why they called themselves a socialist workers' party. So in the 1920s and 30s, you have two main economic political systems. You have democratic capitalism, which is all of these countries, and you have communism, which is, well, it's this one country. We're not in Cold War territory here. They're not facing off head to head, but there is active socialist and communist groups and parties in all of these countries. And there is a push from the grassroots to see change. A popular way of organizing political parties is organizing workers' parties. And so Anton Drexler organizes a party, the DAP, and they don't really do much except for a beer hall putsch, which was led by this guy, which kind of goes nowhere, and they're outlawed in 1923. After this fails, the DAP is made illegal. Why do we kind of care about the DAP part of the NSDAP, or the Nazi Party? Well, Adolf Hitler thought it was important. He thought it was so important that he changed his membership number from 555th to 7th. But that's where the roots of this confusion between National Socialism and actual socialism exists, is the roots in this sort of workers' party organization. Because they weren't really a workers' party, they were a political party that was focused on nationalism. And so, to broaden the appeal of the German Workers' Party, which was a nationalist organization, they added National Socialists on the front of it. Nationalists to appeal to the right-hand voters, and socialists to appeal to the left. But after Adolf Hitler gets out of prison, his main model isn't a socialist country. His main model isn't any sort of Marxist literature. His main model is this guy and his system called fascism. So the simplest answer to whether the Nazis were on the left or the right is if we just look at what the Germans thought of the Nazi Party at the time. Well, here's a photo of the Reichstag, and here's a seating plan. And the Germans had the same left to right political spectrum seating as many countries do today. And we can see right here, right in the corner, that's where they're sitting. On the right. Far right, even.
You know what I mean? It's just how I'm feeling.
Okay, so maybe the picture's fake. Or maybe they had a different idea of political seating. How else could we possibly figure out this massive conundrum? Rather than looking at a label that they gave themselves, maybe we could look at their friends and their enemies. So who were the Nazis aligned with? Who were the National Socialists friends with? And who were their enemies? In Germany, the National Socialists were friends with the German National People's Party, and they were anti-communist, super monarchist, conservative reactionaries. The Nazis were also very cozy with industrialists who were tired of their workers striking and fighting for better conditions. The opposite of what most socialist parties were doing. Outside of Germany, they were friends with Fascist Italy, which were ultra-nationalist conservatives. Internationally, they are seen as the extreme opposition to the other extreme side of politics, communism. Well, maybe we could look at what the Nazis did. After banning all political parties that didn't start with an N or rhyme with artsy, they rounded up all of the prominent leftist leaders and sent them to concentration camps. Okay, but socialists kill socialists all the time. Look at Uncle Joe Stalin. Okay, so maybe that was just the socialists that were opposed to this kind of socialism. So some people actually believed in the idea of this national socialism, of the nationalism of your country and the systems of socialism. Two of these people were the Strasser Brothers. They were both socialists who curated a sort of left wing of the Nazi Party. One of the brothers, Otto, would leave because he realized that the Nazi Party didn't have any interest in furthering workers' rights or any sort of socialist ideals. His brother Gregor would stay though, and he stayed until 1934, when His death was ordered by Adolf Hitler to purge the party of any sort of internal enemies. And essentially that is the end of any sort of actual socialist sentiment inside of the National Socialist movement. If you look at what they say as well, their priority isn't improving the material conditions of the working class from like a Marxist perspective. It isn't exporting workers' revolutions. It's about maintaining a mythological German culture and preserving an imaginary German purity. They weren't invading countries like the Soviet Union was to spread their glorious workers' paradise. But based on Nazi ideology, they were invading because the Germans needed more land, and the Germans got to take it from other people because the Germans were superior. And ultimately, if you're not happy with any of those answers, we can just look at what Adolf Hitler thought. In an interview with George Verrick, Hitler was asked, "Why do you call yourself a National Socialist, since your party program is the very antithesis of that commonly accredited to socialism?" And Hitler replied, "Socialism is the science of dealing with the common good. Communism is not socialism. Marxism is not socialism. Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning." Or in 1929 in a speech, he says, "Socialism, what an unfortunate word altogether. What does socialism really mean? If people have something to eat and their pleasures, then they have their socialism." Socialism to Hitler meant whatever he wanted it to mean at the time. The Nazi party chummed around with industrialists and conservatives and conservative political parties. They were inspired by and worked with another conservative movement in Europe, and they maintained a conservative idea of what it meant to be German. And rather than fighting for the proletariat, they were fighting for racial purity. And you can still see that conservative bent today when we look at neo-Nazis, people that are inspired by the Nazis. They're not leftists. They don't go and march at Black Lives Matter rallies. They turn up to things like Unite the Right. The only reason why certain people on the right say that the Nazis weren't conservative and they had to be progressive is because of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the idea that people are uncomfortable at thinking that something is good that can lead to something that is bad. So pundits on the right, like Jordan Peterson, they can't believe that conservatism is good and that the Nazi party were conservative. And so if something is politically bad, then it has to be on the left. And then you just sort of cherry pick your facts and arrange them in the manner that you need to. They're working backwards from the conclusion that they want. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for dropping by. Leave us a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.